Well, broads, I firmly believe that a lot of life's issues can be solved with some good quality shut-eye. But what happens when you can't quite get the sleep you need? Well, then you need to call in some reinforcements. And lately, I have been loving Calm, the app designed to help you ease stress and get the best sleep of your life.
85 million people around the world are already using the Calm app to help them fall and stay asleep. In the Calm program library, you'll find an endless variety of things to help you drift off. Everything from soundscapes to guided meditations. And there's even sleep stories narrated by some of your favorite voices like Stephen Fry and Kelly Rowland.
Oh, when I fall asleep using Calm to, I don't know, Harry Styles or Cillian Murphy sweetly speaking into my ear, okay, I fall asleep faster, I stay asleep longer, and I wake up feeling rested and ready to take on the day. So download the Calm app today to experience a complete transformation in the way you sleep.
And for listeners of the show, Calm is offering a special limited time promotion of 40% off a Calm premium subscription at calm.com/chatty. That's 40% off unlimited access to Calm's entire library. And new content is added every week. You can get started today at calm.com/chatty. That's calm.com/chatty.
And welcome to another episode of Chatty Broads with Becca and Jess.
Well, broads, I mean, what an episode.
Oh, Episode 3, bringing the heat.
Good morning, broads. I mean, it was a snoozer last week. It was just a lot of Queen Victoria. And we saw Queen Victoria not get the heat so much this week. And wow.
She was bringing the heat.
She was bringing the heat, and wow, what a shift.
So, I mean, at the very beginning of the episode, we have what is sort of a just a precursor to the theme of the episode. We have Sarah fainting.
I mean, it's like this is the perfect preamble to what we're about to watch over
Truly.
and over and over again. Sarah having a moment. The stresses are getting to her. Now, I felt watching this, the second that she started to faint, it was like, oh, honey, you just put a target on your back big time. Big time, big time, big time, big time. Because even if the girls are okay with you having a rose already and getting just a moment alone with Matt in the middle of the rose ceremony, it's game over. It's absolute game over. Mm-hmm. Well, are you down to just dive into this? There's so much to cover in this episode.
We can go forward.
Okay, so here's the thing, broads. On our episode that's going to be coming out on Thursday, we're going to be going over all sorts of Bachelor tea. There was just so much to cover. We're like, let's just do second episode of the week to go over it. There's been so much drama and weirdness happening in Bachelor Nation, so we discuss all that on Thursday, which, by the way, we recorded that episode beforehand. We recorded that episode earlier before we watched this, but still cover all the drama.
Yep.
So I say we just talk this episode.
Let's go for it. So in the beginning, we have the end of the rose ceremony where we see some ladies go home, including Mary Lynn.
Well, and by the way, you have this moment when Sarah passes out and then Matt James walks out with her, that the women are already the troops are restless, and we hear Jasenia go, you have to mentally prepare for this or why come? Like, the women are like, girl.
I mean, like, couldn't she just have like a migraine or some shit?
That's
like,
what I was
why are they
thinking.
like already assuming? Like, what? I'm confused.
Now, that's what makes me wonder, has there already been
talk? Is she already saying, like, I just don't know if I can handle this? Like, emotionally, I'm feeling overwhelmed. And then she faints, and then that's why people are rolling their eyes.
Exactly.
Because it'd be different if you're like, man, I'm just not feeling well. I'm feeling super lightheaded. You're not going to come for someone so quick if they just pass out. Like, on the risers, where you're standing there for hours.
You lock your knees, and all of a sudden, if I would be standing there and I just would have had one thought of a needle, I would have hit the deck.
And the
know what I mean?
Well, and the rose ceremony, like, at this point is still really long. So it's understandable. It's not like a quick 10-minute affair. It's like over an hour.
And you're wearing a tight dress, perhaps. Like, I mean,
you're swaying.
I'm used to wearing sweats. I'm in PJs right now doing my job. Okay. I'm used to wearing the sweats now, the PJs. Yes. You put me in a tight dress, I'd probably pass out too. Right. But Queen Victoria, she's irritated. She's saying, don't faint. I've never fainted for attention before. So already they're thinking there's motive behind this faint. And Sarah's outside in Matt's coat with like a Nesquik or some sort of like, something that she's sipping on. Matt comes back And I was laughing because he right away says, I'd like to apologize for that. I was just as caught off guard as you were. Like, if I would have been Sarah, I would have felt a little awkward.
Yeah, it's like a really weird thing to say to all the other girls.
Just like, so sorry. I was also weirded out by the fact that she passed out.
Yeah, what the fuck's up with that?
It was so random. Rude. But yes, so we have
Victoria also says that Sarah is now worse than Marilyn.
Yes. And let's see. The girls who got the roses, we got Kayla, Mari, MJ, Anna, Kylie, Vic, and Victoria ends up getting the rose. Sure. Marilyn is sent home. Kristen Bree is sent home. Eliana, Sydney. I think that's it. But it was interesting because the tea before, as Marilyn was leaving, she says, well, there's drama between other girls in the house too, but no one decided to bring it to Matt but Victoria.
Oh, yes.
So an
interesting tidbit.
It's you're starting to process. It's like, what other drama is going on in this house? And I think that this Sarah drama in this episode is the tip of the iceberg. I think there's other drama amongst other women too. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we're going to really see it all this season because they're stuck in this hotel. Sure. And if there's other drama going on, sure, we must know what.
I feel you. Okay, so for this week's dates, Chris comes out to say that Matt agrees that he needs to be pushed. Okay, weird. And he says that he's going to be curating some of these dates.
Yes, he says that Matt needs to be uncomfortable.
Which, by the way, we see in the rest of the dates, Chris, there's no curation going on except for the minute where he is going to plug his book.
Correct.
So basically, I mean, all these women get the group date except for Sarah. Noteworthy.
Yes.
The girls are speculating on what they're going to be doing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm starting to, by the way, Anna's starting to crack me up. She was making me laugh.
Oh, I mean, yeah, we ended up really liking her this episode.
Now, I'm not sure when I'm seeing previews of her in the next episode where she's just like, the sugar baby. Like, how am I going to start to feel
No,
that?
I loved it. The way that she phrased it, she said, she is accepting, like, something like accepting money for being in men's company. Like, she said something very sort of old-fashioned.
And her mouth was like this. Perhaps an escort.
I mean, I'll say this. I don't care how you feel about sex work, whether you support it or not, but if you're going on the show not being open about the work that you do, that's pretty dishonest.
I mean, unless she ends up telling, I mean,
yeah, okay.
You don't have to reveal that right off the top in a relationship if you're just starting to date somebody.
I would say when the implication is that you have a monogamous relationship with someone, yes.
Yes, but he is also dating 32 women.
Yes, but the premise of the show is that you go in looking for a monogamous relationship.
Sure.
So I'm gonna play the other side. We'll play the two sides.
Okay.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but also, if this is something she's hearing from, it's possibly a shady situation.
Well, Anna does not seem to like it, or if anything, Anna seems very excited.
Elated. Yeah. That's probably more what it is.
And I'm assuming it's one of the new girls that are coming in next week because she's.
And it seems like one or more of the new girls is particularly hated, and particularly there's tension going on. So
yes,
that's
indeed.
Another dynamic.
Yes, indeed. Well, they hear from Chris Harrison that it's going to be an uncomfortable date, and Kit says that she says, I love being uncomfortable. And I was like, my dear, I don't think you've ever been uncomfortable.
Shade.
I'm sorry.
I'm also like, if you love being uncomfortable, is that technically uncomfortable? Like, if you're in a situation that you feel comfortable with, then you're not uncomfortable.
Fascinating. Fascinating point. Very fascinating
that doesn't seem to
point.
qualify as uncomfortable if you're enjoying it.
No, I just saw her post from this vast view in this penthouse earlier about
with like Grecian columns in the background.
Yeah, and I was just like
making quips about her sweatpants when she's literally in a Grecian resort.
And I was like, I mean, king, as you refer to yourself, like this is not just comfort.
Anyway,
Anywho,
the girls walk in on Ashley reading Erotica. And at first we think it's just random erotica, and it's like, whoa, spicy. She's going in. They're immediately walking into the situation.
It is, I mean, the scene, Becca, it is dimly lit. It looks
There's no light on her face.
like it looks like a jazz club or something like that, like an old-timey jazz club with the erotica.
And they're hearing like he took off whatever
Like
it was.
he grasped her buttocks, like the
Yes, he clasped like his hands up against the uncovered
The
flesh of her
curve.
hindquarters, whatever the fuck. Not only is she reading erotica, we then come to find out that it's from Chris Harrison's book. And this is a plug for his book.
When I tell you my utter dismay at the fact that now I'm not there is no dismay that Chris Harrison is plugging his book. If you recall, during all the GOAT episodes, his book was in the background the entire time. Clearly not enough people bought it, and they're like, let's make this a date. The fact that it is mild erotica, Becca, the joy and horror, the simultaneous joy and horror that I experienced visualizing Chris Harrison in his bedroom quarters, just transcribing erotica.
Is this a ghostwriter situation? But like, why did he pick this as something that he's going to like pursue? It's bizarre to me.
This is a passion project.
He's not in it for the money. Don't get it twisted, guys.
Don't get it twisted. Chris Harrison, his face is not on the cover. He's not in it for the money. He is a passionate about erotica. This is what Chris Harrison thought he was going to be doing when he took on the position as host for a love show.
Yeah.
He thought it would be much more like this and way less tame.
You know what he could make a shit ton of money on? We started doing erotica about each couple, as we were briefly doing
The fanfic.
the fanfic
Oh, I mean,
by Chris Harrison.
what a lost opportunity.
Behind the scenes, as if he's on set with them while they met on The Bachelor. I rounded the corner through the veranda, and who do I see? It is... I can't think of anyone.
Tasha.
It is Catherine, sprawled underneath Sean's... whatever. Meaty flesh.
Meaty flesh.
I couldn't think of anything.
His
And
blonde thigh hair glistening.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Not okay. Not okay. But that, from his perspective as the host,
Oh my god.
walking in on couples on The Bachelor.
Yes, you always-
He's a voyeur. It's voyeurism. He's peeking through
He's
the fantasy
voyeur.
suites.
That's why he always gives the key and it's signed from Chris Harrison. And every time he's just like, this is going to be a fantastic chapter.
That is horrifying. He's got little peepholes in all the fantasy suites. Oh my god, that is so not okay. And I would so buy a copy if he did a tell-all.
I mean, Chris, come on. Reveal it to us.
Secrets from the suites.
Oh my god. The amount of puns.
Yeah.
The amount of puns.
Sweet secrets.
Oh. And then Becca, the fact then that he was present for the reading of the erotica did it feel inappropriate?
First of all, one thing I noticed is that he was absent when Ashley was reading the erotica from his book. He was nowhere in sight when she was plugging his book and reading it. Nowhere in sight.
Then he was being a voyeur.
Yeah, no, he wasn't there because that would be embarrassing if he was just standing there as she's reading his.
Just like smelling a rose. Just lounging on the thing, just like, yes, indeed, I did. I did write this.
He has his quill that he's like tickling his own nose with. It's like, But then, yeah, he comes out when they write their own erotica, which, by the way, is what the women are doing on this date. They are writing their own Erotica. Rachel's like, I don't know how to do this.
Wait, do you think that Chris Harrison was absent probably because they didn't want it to be like
Creepy.
have potential for inappropriate yes, uncomfortable because then Ashley is like
and he'll have to
helping
make
them
some
write it.
quip. Yeah, it's just too weird.
They knew that the liability for him hopping from person to person.
Even though on Claire's season they had him literally stand there while they blindfolded her and made men go up to her and kiss her. It was so, oh my God.
I wonder if he has a
never
chapter
recover
about
from
that in his book.
Oh my God. Okay, now some of the girls' perspectives. Katie is stoked. She's like, I'm going to introduce him to what I'm into, what I want. She's into it.
Katie is like a queen of communication in the bedroom. We love her.
She's pretty good at communication overall.
She's a fantastic communicator. You know that she has done every course. She has read books on pursuing your sexuality, not feeling shame or guilt, communicating with your partner. We love to see it. And then Kit sounds straight up like Nicholas Sparks. Like, it's pretty good. And it is
pretty good. Like the North Carolina breeze or whatever whispers across my shoulders as I gaze out onto the, it's like.
I was just like, oh my God, give me.
This is what preparatory school does, eh?
I'm like, give me a glass of champagne and a veranda. And I'm very open to this fantasy.
Ashley listening to Victoria's was fucking hilarious.
It was incredible. Victoria's is completely X-rated. I would actually love to hear Ashley's perspective on all of their erotica.
Maybe we should get her to call in next week and talk.
I would love to hear. I would love to hear some. Yeah, let's talk.
Oh, that's so fun. Okay, let's see. I mean, the girls' performances. Look, all in all, I was so impressed by all of them.
I mean,
no one really shied away.
Vastly impressed. And also, I mean, this was a fun date. I thought it was a fun date.
The live audience was, of course, the other girls in the house.
Of course, they had to watch. I feel like I would have loved being on this date. Would you have liked to write and read erotica out loud?
Yeah, but I don't know. I said to you, I don't know if I would want it like. I mean, obviously they showed it very edited, so I guess I wouldn't care. But my first thought was like, oh, I don't want my family.
Yeah, you just give them a heads up, though. You're like, just don't watch this part of the episode.
That's true.
You know what I mean? I would have been
I think it would have been so fun, though.
Oh, I would have been like, this is my moment. And I would have been so... I don't think I would have gone...
I would have done a threesome with Tyler and Matt is what my erotica would have been.
Becca.
Or with one of... No, actually, I wouldn't have done that. Obviously, that's inappropriate. And Matt probably would have feel weird about that. But...
You don't think that he would have thought that was so funny?
What if you did it like there was... Tyler on Matt action and it's like a bi threesome and you walk in on them and then join.
I feel
that would be fun.
Listen, I feel like Matt is the type of person, that's what I was thinking when you were saying it. I feel like Matt is the type of person who would have like
loved it.
Died. I think that was so funny.
Pete, Colton, maybe not so much. Pete would think it was
fun. Pete would have loved it. Pete is so jealous that he didn't get this date. Pete is so angry. He's like, but I've been working on my sonnets. You know that he writes erotica.
Oh, I bet he would love to hear all of the ladies. Yeah, I bet Matt would be a super good sport about it. Or I would incorporate one of the women in the house, and that would be fun.
That would be fun too.
I would be like one of the girls who's not on the date, who's like watching.
Like you're the girl that you've connected with the most in the house. Be like, listen,
fun.
I know my girl who, whoever is going to be totally down with this. Yes. And you're just like, whatever. That would be fun. So fun. That's a great idea.
That would be fun. But yeah.
Oh, we didn't talk about the fact that Matt went first.
Oh my God. Well, yeah, I was getting there. So Matt, he was reading it like it was like a 7th grade poetry performance. His face was deadpan, eyes wide, and it was like pausing. So he's like,
dramatic effect.
She smells something coming wafting from the kitchen. Chocolate cake. That was bizarre. I was not feeling it. I was not feeling the fire.
No, but it was not turning me on like it was all the other women apparently.
Yeah, all the other women's is great.
But no, I mean like they were all turned on by his.
Oh yeah, no.
But I did have to be like, he was a good sport. I felt like he
took it very seriously.
He took it very seriously. I was like, all right. Oh, and Chris Harrison, when he's like, okay, King, please. I'm like, what is Chris Harrison's deal with Matt James?
Okay, King.
He is so obsessed with him. Please, King. After he informs all the women that
Would he ever call another bachelor king?
I don't think so.
Pete? Colton?
No.
Ari?
No.
Ben?
No.
Maybe Ben.
He would call it Ben's son.
Prince?
My prince, my heir.
King, I know.
After Chris Harrison told them that that their poems, sonnets, erotica could be risky or as aggressive as they wanted it to be, I was like, inappropriate.
Keep those comments to yourself, please. Keep those comments to you and Lauren.
Thank you, Chris. Well, Sarah is starting to observe these women.
No. She's not doing well. She's already not doing well.
And Sarah is acting as if her and Matt have been dating for a year in a monogamous relationship. And suddenly her boyfriend, Matt, says, I don't want to be monogamous anymore. And without her permission, starts making out with people in front of her. Yep, that is how she was acting.
That is true. That is true. We see that develop more throughout the episode. I want to talk quickly about the ladies' different performances.
Please.
Anna's super fun.
So fun.
She has her thing at the end. She gets the final rose and she comes. That's so funny to me.
That was so funny, and she was the first one to do it too. And that's you know she set the tone.
She did.
She was funny.
Yes.
She was fun. She was comfortable.
Bree incorporates stuff about their date, which is a fun touch.
Smart move.
Serena's was also good. Loved her outfit.
Serena.
She's rocking some sexy black pants.
Serena's voice is my most favorite thing in this entire season.
Oh, I know. She's so betchy.
I love
she is.
her.
She's super betchy.
I love her.
Super betch.
Let's see.
Kayla said some shit that got bleeped out.
Yeah, she was talking dirty. And then Rachel, I was actually surprised. We thought that Rachel was going to go up and be like, well... Yeah. I think we might fall in love and hold hands later. Yeah, no. And she actually did it.
She was like, my groin fluttered with desire.
It was like a groin.
That's like what my mom used to say, you know? Mom would be like, stop touching your groin.
And I'm like, my groin? That's like, it's like, what?
Groin always sounded like balls to me, you know?
Yeah, groin just always reminds me of where when I'm shaving, all my fun little razor burn is all over the sides.
That's your groin area.
That's what I always think about when I think about a groin. I just think about razor burn.
I just think about like balls and like just like the groin area.
Just
weird.
Just a groin.
Anyway. Hers was fluttering with desire.
And then Katie,
oh my god,
was incredible. So
fully explicit,
so much bleeping, barely could understand what she was saying at certain points, and then at the end she wraps it up with a Harry Met Sally type like climax moment, and the girls are dying
and
laughing.
He gave her a huge hug after too. I noticed
he loved it.
He did like a big bear hug.
He loved it.
I like that he's like down for a girl who wants to have a good, like who's open and wants to have a good time. He doesn't seem to be like insecure about that at all.
Not at all. And he even mentioned before Sarah cut off her date later that he made a comment that he was like, I love that you are comfortable and like that you enjoy what it seems to appear to enjoy sex and be open about it. Do you like
sucking dick? We love to hear it. We love to hear it, Queen. Victoria's
after Katie is moaning with pleasure and getting bleeped out, Queen Victoria's just like, this is vanilla shit.
She's like, he comes in and spanks me. And then she did like fake orgasm shade. And she's like, and he knew it was real, unlike all his past girlfriends or something. It was so funny.
She was great,
and everyone was just, it was a good time was had by all except Sarah, but everyone was just dying laughing and was just enjoying themselves. They said they felt
empowered, which was it was wonderful. It didn't feel like anyone felt uncomfortable. It felt like everyone felt that they were having a good time and felt safe, and it was fun.
Yeah, I will say also that my experience being on The Bachelor, like with all those women, it is like, even though the environment's not ideal a lot of the times, you do get like, I believe in having the energy of like women around you that can really energize you and really like give you a new, like really elevate your energy, I guess is the only way I can describe it. And I 100% felt that coming off of The Bachelor, having 5 weeks just like stuck with this big group of women sharing
Just
this,
like a goddess empowerment.
yeah, even though it was like horrible, you know, some of the time, and like we hated each other sometimes, it was still very much, yeah, exactly, like just like woman estrogen vibes that was actually like good for the soul, nourishing in a way. We don't
Just
get
like
enough of that.
So many uteruses together.
Yeah,
and
the
like,
red tent kind of shit. So anyway,
well, Chris makes some beautifully awkward comment at the end of this after watching this whole display. You know, he lets the women know that the women who were not technically on the date, who were just observing, he's like, well, sorry, you all just got teased and now you have to go home. And I'm just like, Carissa,
yeah, inappropriate.
keep it in your book.
I was half expecting him to be like, and I'll be back, like I'll be there if anyone.
He was just like, definitely Lauren Zima was at Nima Colon when they revealed this, because he was so excited to drop an erotica moment from his book, and she is just there waiting for him.
It was pretty hilarious to watch both him and Ashley's reactions.
It was fantastic.
I loved it.
Well, the women are losing it.
Yeah,
excuse me, not the women.
Sarah's
Sarah's losing
all
it.
beaten up over it.
But before we get deeper into that, should we take a quick little pause? Well, broads, here's the deal. I may not have any cats, but I have heard and I have seen via my family that they can get dust everywhere from that litter box. But apparently that's not the case anymore, thanks to Pretty Litter. Is that right, Becca?
Oh, that's right. For those of you who don't know, I have 2 cats. I also thought I would be stuck to a stinky litter box forever. But then I discovered Pretty Litter, and it's honestly the best thing. If you've got indoor cats, it basically makes it seem as though you don't have indoor cats. It's made with ultra-absorbent crystals that instantly trap odor, and they last for up to a month. This means you'll never be hit with an unexpected whiff of something gross.
Bless you, or have those sneezes with the dust.
I was imagining the litter dust. That's made me sneeze.
My dad used to be just sneeze fest constantly, him and my sister, and now they use the Pretty Litter and there's no more sneezes.
Yeah.
And look I was just about to talk about the dust. That's no longer an issue with Pretty Litter. Their litter is made from a super light crystal base that minimizes mess and dust, so you'll never again find yourself scrubbing kitty litter off your floors. But here's the best part, broads. Pretty Litter changes color to help detect early signs of potential illness, including urinary tract infections and kidney issues. Cats are notorious for hiding when they don't feel well, so this is a huge peace of mind that your furry friend is in perfect health.
Do what I did and make the switch to Pretty Litter today. Get 20% off your first order by visiting prettylitter.com and use promo code CHATTY. That's prettylitter.com, promo code CHATTY for 20% off. prettylitter.com, promo code CHATTY.
Oh, broads, you know we love you, which means when we find something good, we have to share it with you. You know those people who always pretend that they can't remember whether they got something or where they got something when someone asked them? Nope, not us.
Yeah, that's rude.
If we find something that we love, you better believe we're telling you about it, which is why we will never, ever, ever stop talking to you about FabFitFun.
It's pretty great, isn't it? Our singing and the box.
Felt so good to sing that again.
Well, if you don't know, FabFitFun is the premium subscription box that delivers expertly curated, full-size self-care and wellness products straight to your door. Every single delivery is equally amazing. I found so many of my new favorite products through my FabFitFun boxes. The boxes are fully customizable. And like I said, these are full-size products. The boxes cost just $49.99, but they are always valued at over $200. That's some pretty serious savings. No wonder they have over 1 million happy customers already.
I made sure to choose the Summer and Rose Cozy Robe for one of my products in my winter box. And broads, it's like pulling teeth getting me to take that thing off, okay? I almost wore it, but then I felt like maybe I'd flash some of you because it's a little bit short, okay? Those of you watching the YouTube. It is so soft, luxurious, and it's just fantastic. Oh, and the DP Hue Dry Shampoo has been my go-to. It's the first time I was trying it with the FabFitFun box, and it's my new favorite discovery that I will be continuing to order. Thanks so much to FabFitFun. They always help me discover new amazing products that I love. And although it was so hard to pick because the products in this FabFitFun winter box are all so amazing, I can't wait to see what they have next season.
Order your winter box today and sign up now so you can snag amazing products like the Summer and Rose Robe or the Unhide Little Marshmallow Blanket when you customize. Use coupon code CHATTY for $10 off your first box at www.fabfitfun.com. If you want $10 off your first box, again, use code CHATTY at fabfitfun.com today.
Well, broads, what is not fun are the women discussing their date back at the house while the other women are having the nighttime date.
They're tripping over it.
They're tripping, and I feel like everyone's reading way too much into this date.
Yeah, they were
like
Matt was really into it. These girls like got a chance to show like a new side of themselves that we didn't.
Like, I don't know if I'm not having love in my heart, but I feel like if I was Matt and I heard...
You would be jealous though, right? That if you weren't on that date, you would be jealous.
I would just show him next time.
Yeah, I'd be like, I wrote my own erotica at the cocktail party. Here you go, bitches.
And I wrote it all over my body, and I'd rip open a trench coat, and I'd be in lingerie, and it'd be written on the trench coat behind me.
He's like, what does that say? Trying to read back and forth. Sarah says it was hard to watch because she's like, imagine having your dream date and having this shoved in your face. Okay, whatever, Sarah.
She compares it to putting salt on wounds, and I was like, this just feels extra dramatic. Honestly, I would be jealous, but I also would feel a little turned on watching it.
It was also just like so fucking goofy. It was like,
it was so goofy. And honestly, at the next date, I would say to him, I'd be like, I'd make it a thing. I'd be like, honestly, it kind of turned me on listening to all those girls talking about it because it was.
What's
it was
your
hot.
fantasy?
Yes, it's an easy way to have a fun conversation.
Totally, I agree. That's fun.
It's just drama.
Now, Rachel's sitting with Matt on the night portion of the date. She said she was having a hard time, and he said it didn't seem like a fantasy. Like that was something that could really happen. I'm like, okay.
This just got real serious.
Fantasy suites then, I suppose, with Rachel.
Yes, and she says that she hasn't felt this quickly ever, and they start kissing, and then Becca and I looked at each other, and we said, who's not the good kisser? Is it Rachel or Matt? Because something strange was happening.
Their chemistry is just a little bit off.
Yeah, it felt like there was something off in that smooch, even though he did give her the rose in the end, so apparently it wasn't too off. But
yeah, it looked to me more like it was off for her. She looked like she was kind of pulling back.
Well, by the way, listen to our Thursday episode to find out more information.
Hear Rachel's mother's defense.
Yes, to hear more info about all the Rachel stuff going on. Tune into our Thursday episode.
Yes.
Well, then we have Katie.
Oh, she's having a little. Yeah.
I mean, an actual queen. Like, I couldn't be more obsessed with her after this episode.
Yeah,
she
really
is
sweet.
pep talking the women. She is talking about the need for healthy communication in the bedroom, and I am living for it. Okay,
She's so funny.
She's so funny, and she's so cute and smart, and like just all the good things.
Well, yeah, and then she's. I do like her.
She's just kind of everything.
She's
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
How old is she?
I don't know.
Like 28 or something.
But I think she will I don't believe Matt's her person. I believe she will find her person on Bachelor in Paradise.
I could see
I have hope for her. Now, I don't know who it would be, but I have hope in my
Maybe
heart.
someone from Tayshia and Claire's.
Maybe. I just don't know. I don't necessarily know who would be a match for Katie, our communicative queen.
Ben?
That's going to be a no for me.
Well, we're also going to be talking about that on the Thursday episode.
Yes, we do talk about Ben on the Thursday episode. Spoiler, not a spoiler, tease. But I can't stop envisioning Katie and Blake, but I think that's just because that's kind of like something of my fantasies that I just desire.
That's cute.
I feel like they'd be cute together, and he's super communicative, remember? He's always communicating.
Or is she going to end up with someone like Jason, who's just like, has a lot of what do you call it? Like emotional growth to do, and she's going to end up being the...
Jason.
Wasn't that the guy from Claire's? Did he have a different name?
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. How could I forget? Oh, my God. Jason. You know what's funny? He may just absolutely fall in love with Katie because she's so...
You're thinking Blake from Tayshia's season.
Yes.
I'm thinking old Blake.
No.
Yes, Blake from Tayshia's season. Yes. Yes, may it come to fruition. May it be.
She will have her dildo. He will have his penis sculpture.
Oh my God, I love that. I love the idea. I'm so with you on the fantasy part. I love the idea of them just having
right?
just crazy,
She loves talking about
wonderful, communicative, hot sex together. Let it be.
Let it be.
Let it be.
Well, then we have Bree and Matt talking. And by the way, what a big thing that we missed last episode because our
what a time for the internet to cut out.
Our internet cut out when we were watching the show. But we during Bree and Matt's one-on-one date, we missed the top portion of the evening for them, where Bree told Matt that her mother was 13 when she had her, and that and then
I can't believe we missed that.
I know. And then her father,
big thing.
Such a big thing. And then her father wasn't around. And then she was talking about how recently her mother had either remarried or is with someone else, and they have a baby together, and how she feels like not part of really a family anymore because,
wow.
I mean, that's so. That's so heavy, and so then they had their moment together,
and we missed all of that,
and we missed all of it.
You know what? They seemed awkward in like a cute way with each other, where it seemed like they were both a little nervous after having their one-on-one together. It was kind of cute. There's kind of some awkward energy there.
It was cute.
Back at the house, Serena P gets a one-on-one date card.
Yes, and she is too scared to come down and let the other girls see her. So apparently she's upstairs. And honestly,
wait, Sarah?
No, Serena. Serena gets the date card, and they're like where is she? And I think she was upstairs, and she was kind of just like hiding away.
Oh, I somehow missed that. Okay, that's funny.
Yeah, because and I honestly later in this date later in this episode I don't blame her.
Sure. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Cuts to Sarah then, who is saying she's emotionally exhausted. She's feeling triggered because of past infidelity issues. And ultimately, she decides that she needs to go let him know how she feels.
She cannot wait to tell Matt. She feels like she must speak to him, even though Chris Harrison made it very clear that everyone will be getting time with him during some date this week. But she needs to let him know now. Well, poor Katie is in the middle of talking to Matt.
Having a nice conversation.
They're having a nice conversation. She's having a full-blown, communicative sex talk with him.
He said he found it was extremely attractive.
How open she is about sex. And I was like, okay, we like this. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Katie. Okay. And then Sarah interrupts.
Yeah, at this point, Matt is just down for Katie. He's like, this girl came in with a big vibrating dildo. Now she's talking about how open she is with all her fantasies. I mean, fuck it. She's down. I'm down. Let's do this.
Seriously. Right? Also, it's like this girl, there's no drama with her in the house. She seems great. She seems nice.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. What's the problem? Fantasy suites, please.
Let's chill.
She brought things with her. She brought toys with her for the fantasy suite.
We know it's going to be a good time.
Yes, and I'm sure she brought extra for the fantasy suite too, where she will probably have a beautiful consensual conversation with him about how they're going to have fantastic sex in the fantasy suites.
We love to see it.
We love it.
But what we don't love to see is her wonderful moment getting interrupted by Sarah.
And so then Katie returns back to the women to tell them the tales of Sarah.
And here begins Victoria of the episode.
Okay, listen. Obviously, Queen Victoria, an absolute nightmare in last episode. She is also a nightmare in this episode. But to tell you I wasn't laughing my ass off with her commentary would be a full-blown lie. I was so entertained by her this episode. It was ridiculous.
Because we also see, okay, granted, we will get into where everyone's being extremely mean. But Victoria's a little more in her element, where it's, less of a show, and it's more like she's just playing up everything for all the other girls' attention, and that makes it kind of fun because she knows that she's cracking up the other girls. Everyone seems to be kind of on a good level with her.
Yeah, I think she's the women have started to understand her more, and she has taken role as the mouthpiece of the house, and I think she's living for it. Mm-hmm. I think she likes her new role. Mm-hmm. And when she said, I would never interrupt someone else's group date. My own group date, sure, but never someone else's. Oh my God. The commentary was incredible.
Absolutely loved that moment.
God.
And then, of course, she's like, to Katie, she's like, go back. Go back.
Why are you? And so all the women are assuming, they're like, the only way that Sarah is coming out of her way to come interrupt our group date is there's something wrong. Obviously, there's a big thing. And then Katie was like, she seems nervous. So then, of course, the queen is just like, well, why are you not informing us of the tea? Go back, find out what's going on, return to me, your queen, and let all of us know.
Victoria was killing me this whole episode. I was cackling out loud anytime she'd say
we were
anything.
yelling.
I thought
we
it
were
was
loving
pretty fucking funny. This is interesting because we see two very different sides of Katie in this episode. We see some moments with Sarah where she is getting very petty, and I wonder if that was maybe with a little bit of alcohol in her system that we don't see later.
I don't know, because honestly, at that point, I would have been the way when Katie came in and was like, "Excuse me, can I take him?" And then Sarah was just like, 5 more minutes. I would have started to get irritated. I would have been like, and then when she said, well, what about 2? Like, this is our date.
And Sarah's like,
and she's like,
classic.
okay. Like, I would have started to get petty, and as patient as I would have been before. Like, you get me to that point, and you know what it is too? It's the facial expression with Sarah. It's the Victoria Fuller, the like, and it's like, do you hate me? Yeah. Like, she has those look in her eyes sometimes where I'm like, oh my God, like, this feels, and then all the women.
Well, and when Katie comes to interrupt though, she's like, it is our date, so.
I mean, facts
and she stands right outside until they're done.
Oh my God.
And then she comes, checks back in again, and then when they're still not done, she comes and sits down.
They have a little mat sandwich going on, and she's like, it's been 5 minutes. And
I don't know, I thought all that was pretty petty.
And I loved it.
It was it's difficult for me to watch sometimes because it makes me cringe, because I'm like, how does Matt feel about this kind of behavior? You know, that's not a great look.
Lest us not forget that this is all very new to Matt. He does not know anything of this. And he's like, what? It's like, what are you supposed to do in this situation?
I didn't like that moment because I felt like it was putting him in a weird position where both girls were looking at him like, Matt, and he's just kind of like,
It made me cringe because I was like, no, I was mad because I was like, in my brain, I was screaming at producers, don't try to make Katie look like this, because you know they're pushing her to do it.
Well, it came back around for her. You know, it worked out. Oh, so Sarah narrowly skirts this issue by saying, well, why don't you walk me out? And so then they get to do a good old make-out session.
A good smooch sesh.
Woo-wee.
Yes. And then something overtakes Sarah where she feels the need to get really honest with... Did this feel producer pushed to you, or was this a choice?
I think it was definitely, there was a big. She made a very clear decision, I think, by going and doing it to the girls, and it just wasn't a good decision.
It really wasn't. The weird thing about it is this. On one hand, I guess this is the most straight up way to handle the choice you made. Like, you made a definitive choice to go in and interrupt not your group date. So I suppose if you're going to do that, which is not cool, you can go and tell everybody. But she didn't have...
You make it more of a thing when you do that, as opposed to just going home and the girls confronting you about it the next morning, and you're just like, yeah, it was like 10 minutes. I just had to tell him, like, I've been having struggles with family stuff, and I just needed to take that 10 minutes aside, and I felt like it was time sensitive.
Well, it definitely made it worse. It definitely made it worse for her because she had nothing to say. Like, she was not giving any explanation at all to what was going on, and they were not happy.
Oh, no. First of all, the way she came in too is she's like, I want to be the bigger person, and like, this was just on my heart. And it's like, to all the girls who are still waiting to get time with him, it's like just a big middle finger. It's like, oh, fuck you. Well, what's been on my heart?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
totally. It's like, and especially since she got the one-on-one last week when she goes, I'm just letting you know why I'm here. And everyone's just like, well, you're not saying anything. You didn't tell us. She's like, and she literally goes, okay, bye. And like walks out, like moonwalks backwards out.
Oh my God. Yeah. So who starts out? Victoria is the one that first comes out to go talk to her once she's leaving.
One of my favorite moments of the episode was Victoria taking it upon herself to follow Sarah out of the hotel.
Not only that, I love how she goes, like, yeah, like literally, Sarah, we don't see her as some malicious person. So like, we hope that she's okay. Like,
she's like, I mean, we're worried about you. Are you sick?
Yeah, is there something wrong? It must have been something really important for you to come interrupt our group date. Is everything okay, sweetie? That was powerful. That was powerful.
That was a 10 out of 10 move.
That was
a 10 out of 10 move. And honestly, she said her piece.
Sarah's not malicious.
We know she's not. And she said her piece. She put it out there. And the second she felt now Katie walking up and coming over her shoulder, she's like, I'll leave you with Katie. She was acting at this point like a queen. Truly. So I'll leave you with Katie, darling. Oh my God. At first
I was like, no, Katie, no. I thought that they were both going to stand there and like berate her, but actually it was a quite graceful little flip to Katie. And then, I mean, Katie tells her in a fairly respectful way that she didn't get time and that Sarah could have waited. And she's pretty straightforward about it. It's not super mean about it.
No, I thought that, in fact, I mean, granted, it wasn't like, hugs and kisses, but I felt the fact when she said, are you having insecurities? Is that the short answer? And like, Sarah's not saying anything. And she's like, I encourage you to figure it out hard and quick before this becomes something else. And I mean, it's true because guess what happened? It exploded.
Yeah.
It exploded.
Well, Matt sits down with all the ladies and long story short, Rachel gets the rose.
Rachel gets the rose, but the women are befuddled because everyone was convinced that as soon as Sarah left and Matt came back in the room, that it was almost more than half the room hadn't gotten a chance to talk to Matt yet. And, like Sarah was saying, like, once I get my time with him, I'll be a new person. And they were expecting these things. And he comes back. And it seemed, at least to me, very apparent that the producers were like, you have to cut the night, because he seemed so awkward and nervous. He kept like...
Felt bad.
He kept doing that where he's rubbing his fists like, yeah, so it was a great date and it was great to spend time with everybody. And he like ran out of the room.
He doesn't want to face anyone because he feels bad. And
he feels
can't
bad.
Explain that like producers are saying he has to cut that. Yeah, I think that's a good call on your
part.
part.
It felt producer enforced to me because I feel like he would have been unaware more. Came in and been like, ladies, great night. Had a great time. Rachel, rose for you. See all of you ladies tomorrow. Mwah, 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 out. He was nervous and off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very true. Very true. Okay, so
he goes, great date. Gotta
go. Serena P is then going to go on her one-on-one.
Yes.
She's sitting with all the ladies beforehand. Victoria says you can tell Matt Sarah sucks.
And at that point,
you're like, whoa.
I'm like, we both look at each other. We're like, is Sarah in this room? Is this now them trying to like make amends? I was thinking, is she having this comment to be like, haha, right, Sarah? And everybody laughs together. No. In fact, we find out moments later when Matt shows up and asks the women, and they all say that they have not seen Sarah since last night.
So he goes and finds her and lays on her.
Okay. What was that move? He like planked on her.
Yeah, 100%.
She was
it wasn't like sexy lay. It was like plop, pancake.
It was a full plank. His arms were like to his side. It was a full plank.
I don't know.
It didn't make any sense. It was a choice. It was a strange choice.
You know, what's interesting is this seems to be a favorite move for production, is to sort of sequester away or shall I say allow the villainous parties to, specifically with the women. You don't see this as much with the men, interestingly.
Luke P, remember? They had him in a separate room, apparently, constantly.
Isolate
all the other guys were like, had their like roommates, and they would like allow Luke P to have his own space.
Well, I know in Crystal's season, there got to a certain point where no one wanted to be her roommate. That's why she was alone, which is fucked up.
Actually, really sad.
It's hard though, you know. If you're living with someone for weeks on end, you have to sit next to the plane on them. You have to get. When you're fed up with someone, the last thing you want to do is share a room with them. That's just
I am not
real.
one to talk. I am an introvert, and if someone was bugging me, I would have not a lot of patience.
No.
And those are facts. Well, I think you're right. I think that's been a move for sure, especially recently with production.
Well, yeah, I was just going to say, like, when you're really tired and stuff, you want, like, I was always trying to avoid the date card announcements and stuff. And you can't. They're going to go find a handler to go wake your ass up, even if you're hiding in a corner under a blanket. They're going to make sure you're down in there, getting your facial expressions on camera. So it's a specific move to allow women, too, to not go down if they don't want to. It's very interesting.
That is interesting.
Everyone else is forced. And that also initiates some of the tension, because then you're like,
why do they get to sleep?
Yeah, she gets to sleep. Oh, she's having a rough emotional time, so she doesn't have to come down. Meanwhile, we all had to put our makeup on and be ready in 15 minutes at 7 a.m. and be down here.
Interesting.
After we were up till 4 a.m. last night.
Did you ever feel when you were on the show like, oh, they're letting her because they're going to fuck with her? Or were you just too emotionally like caught up?
Well, yes and no, because I think there's that knowledge, but then also you are watching someone who is viewing themselves. And I saw this with like, just in those specific scenarios with Crystal on the show. And I always say this stuff about Crystal, love her now, but like on the, it's a difficult scenario situation. And I'm seeing it here with Sarah, that it's sort of this attitude of like exemption of like, well, like I was feeling really bad. Like it's about me. So I'm going to go interrupt the group date because it's about my feelings. And I'm having the hardest time out of everyone. I'm having a harder time than everyone. Right. And so it's that sort of attitude coupled with it that where you're just like, fuck you. Well, because she thinks that she deserves it more than everyone else to have to be able to stay in her room.
Well, to what you're saying, there is that moment later in the episode where Anna looks at Sarah and was like, you've been having a hard time? Like you had a one-on-one date last week. Yeah. We've been having a hard time.
Exactly. So that's the attitude that I think really riles people up is like, oh, you think you're like special or better than everyone else for some reason. And then that coupled with them being allowed special privileges, like being able to stay in the room is just going to really grind people's gears.
Well, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
Well, so he's up there in her room. She's crying. He's saying it would be a true tragedy if she left. Number one time where she said she's gonna leave.
And the moment this happens, Victoria Fuller is blaring in our brains.
2.0 though, because this is like she was doing that shit like week 2 also.
Yeah.
Like week 3 also.
And I remember at the very top of Pete's season, you and I looked at each other with Victoria and we both said, we're like, this is the first of many times Victoria will threaten to leave. And I think Victoria threatened to leave maybe 5 times in total. Now, granted, at the end of this episode, we see Sarah actually choose to leave, but you and I are definitely of the strong opinion that Sarah will indeed be back.
I think there's like a 95% chance she's back.
Yes, as convinced as I was that Ben was returning, I am convinced that Sarah will return.
It's too much screen time. When someone like just chooses to leave, think about Jason leaving on Tayshia's season.
True.
It's kind of like, okay, bye.
Yeah, it was like a 1.5-minute conversation.
If there's no other storyline that's going to develop, there's no way they're going to dedicate like over a quarter of the episode to that person alone.
And we missed the group date, the third group date. We didn't get the third group date or the rose ceremony. We missed half of an episode because of this. Yeah. This was a ton of screen time.
So there's literally no doubt in my mind that she's coming back. Or he's seeking her out some capacity. She will be involved later in the season. He says he would by the way, come to the room every day for her because he has feelings for her.
And I'm screaming, oh, you sweet, innocent newbie. Don't say that. Don't say that to her. Like, because what's going to happen is she's going to take that at some point later on when she returns and be like, well, Matt told me. And then there's this expectation. It's just like, no. I was telling you, I have a feeling that Matt James, what his mistake will be on this season, because I love him. You love him.
Yeah,
I'm a huge fan so far. I believe he will get caught up in maybe making too many promises or telling too many people that he's in love with
Falling
them.
in love with
maybe
them.
like 10 of them.
For sure. I can 100% see that. Well, he does come back downstairs and the girls are there's some like little subtle jabs at him. Mm-hmm. And he does say that he would do that. I like this answer. He's like, I would do that for anyone who's feeling that way, going to seek them out. And I was like, oh, I believe that.
Yeah. And then he goes, it's my first time.
Guys, just trying to be nice.
It's like, it's
trying to be respectful of people's feelings.
It's
like, give me a fucking break.
I don't know what I'm doing. I think this is the right thing. And when I think about it, if I'd put myself in a lead's position, if there's somebody, anybody who's crying and having a meltdown, I would go and seek them out. And I would sit there and talk. And I wouldn't be like, you've got 2 minutes on the clock because I got this other date. I would be like, no, I'll sit here as long as you want to talk. I'm not going to be like ditching you.
For sure. So before we get into the one-on-one, do you want to take a pause?
Yes, let's take a quick pause. Broads, if you love shopping like I do, you know that when you come across a brand that just gets it so right, it's like a heavenly experience. It's not often you come across one, but when you do, angels singing, okay? One brand that definitely falls into that category of just getting it right is Jenny Kane.
So true.
So good. There's a good chance you already know and love their clothing staples, but my personal favorite pieces are the home goods. Just picture the most idyllic, classic California style, married with modern home pieces and luxury closet staples, and there you have it, Jenny Kane. Something that might be in one of Kit's fantasies that she talked about.
There we go. You know, it's not often that I say this about a brand, but it's really impossible to pick a favorite thing from Jenny Kane. Mm-hmm. I really love every single piece I have, from the candles to the vases to the wall hangings. Every single piece looks like it should be styled in a magazine. That's how gorgeous everything is. And all the collections are truly timeless. They highlight natural materials and textures like woods and leathers and color palettes that they really stand the test of time.
Mm-hmm. And the design isn't the only thing that holds up. Everything from Jenny Kane is made of the most exceptional quality and integrity. Long gone are the days of buying new decorations from big box stores every few months because they inevitably fall apart. When you buy from Jenny Kane, you're making an investment into your living space, which, given how much time we now spend at home, an investment is worth making.
Find your forever pieces at jennykane.com. Get 15% off your first order when you use code CHATTY at checkout, and for a limited time, that also includes furniture. That's 15% off your first order at jennykayne.com. Promo code CHATTY, jennykane.com.
Well, Broads, the last few years, I had just started to accept anxiety and stress as my normal. Like, what in the actual hell? How messed up is that? Okay, spoiler alert, your body is not supposed to be in a constant state of tension. But unfortunately, sometimes that's out of our control. There are ways to manage those things, though. I found Feels CBD to be the best, most natural way for me to feel my best. I love it so much. If you struggle with chronic pain, anxiety, stress, or have trouble sleeping, listen up, because Feels is for you. I have used so much Feels CBD over the past year.
For me personally, Feels CBD has worked wonders on my headaches. Whenever I'm feeling crushed by the weight of a pounding headache, I just place a few drops of Feels under my tongue, and within minutes I start to feel the difference. And because CBD is a natural way to feel better, there's no high, there's no hangover or risk of addiction.
And if the thought of taking CBD stresses you out, oh, the irony, Feels offers a real human support hotline to help you guide your personal experience. Join the Feels community to get Feels premium CBD delivered to your door every month. You'll save money on every order, and you can pause or cancel at any time.
Feels has us feeling our best every day, and it can help you too. You can become a member today by going to feels.com/chatty, and you'll get 50% off your first order with free shipping. That's FEALS.com/chatty to become a member, and you'll get 50% automatically taken off your first order with free shipping. That's feels.com/chatty.
All right. Well, the next date we have is a one-on-one.
Yes, it is.
And it is with little Serena P. And they have a cute horseback riding date.
They make a cheese board. Did you notice they didn't have a board? They were like arranging cheese and meats on like a cloth.
Yeah. I was like, come on,
Like,
everybody.
are they gonna put them onto a board? I was very confused by that. It
I
looked
was
like they were
just like-
packing a little like they were gonna go stow away on a train or something. They were
Yeah, we're
packing
doing
up-
those little things where you tie it on
Grab
the
a
end.
stick, yeah.
And you're just like, no, I just am yelling at production, like, y'all, give them like something, a
what?
hard surface to eat the cheeses off of.
Yeah, that
Also noticed
very
Matt
odd.
James in his Instagram this evening was writing about or posting about, he's like, I made my first cheese board ever check. And it was legit the Lunchables, the
God, it
pizza
was amazing.
Lunchables. And it was
Teddy
Teddy Grahams and like hummus, but like the chips stuck in like darts. And I'm like, you know what, Matt, we love you.
I love him.
We love him. And he talks about that he's never made a cheese board and he isn't a wine guy. And I'm like, yeah, duh, because he's just like chugging brews with Tyler. He's a White Claw guy. Let's be real. Tyler and Matt James are White Claw guys or
I'm
just
actually
tequila.
surprised they don't drink wine. I could see them being the kind of guys that like do it sort of ironically. Like I'm actually kind of surprised.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
They're just probably all tequila and White Claw.
Or do you think like they're the kind of guys that are like, I'm into like a good whiskey? Or like trying to front like that, you know?
Yeah.
Or like a good bourbon.
Maybe.
No, I
pictured Dale
Matt James
Moss.
is someone who likes something fruity.
Yeah.
Matt James likes like a good, he's like, oh man, I don't like it if it doesn't taste good.
Yeah, probably. He
So
feels
like, yeah,
just
I like White Claw.
he's like straight up like that. He's just like, I'm not trying to be this cool guy. I'm just telling you,
Right.
like, I like the taste of
He's-
a pina colada. Deal with it.
Right. He's like, have you ever had like raspberry Bacardi with Sprite? It's bomb.
Honey, have you ever had a Cosmopolitan, okay? I don't need any of your
Pinkies
damn
up.
whiskey, okay? That stuff tastes like a shoe. Have you tried a Mai Tai?
Pina colada, anyone? Do you think like Tyler's the one that would probably try to front and be like, oh yeah, like here's my favorite kind of wine or some shit?
Yeah, I could picture Tyler loving
like
it.
whiskey.
I could picture Tyler loving a big red. Like, you know, he loves a big red wine. Like
Oh,
he
yeah.
loves a Zin. You're just a Zin with lots of legs.
All legs, all legs, no breaks. Same. I pointed out that to me, Serena feels like someone who'd be condescending to me at the office or in a group project. Like she's nice. I don't have any
Yeah.
issues with her. But she's also got vibes where she's like, I could see her like, she's not flashy and she's not bitchy, but she's just someone that would be like in a nice car and it would be like, I don't know if I feel safe with you behind the wheel. I've seen your bumper and what your passenger seat looks like.
Yeah.
Like, with all respect.
Yeah, she feels a little bit like my friend who, because my car is disgusting, she's my friend who I drive up and I'm embarrassed that she's about to
exactly.
see my
You're
car.
trying to clean it. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Like, she's my friend
Yeah.
and I love her, but I'm also like, oh God, I hope she doesn't see my car.
Like, she's my friend where I kind of like wipe down the sink once before she comes over because I'm like,
Yes.
ooh, she's going to think that's gross if there's like
Yes.
hair around the...
she's your friend who, she's like, can I use your bathroom? And you're like, fuck, that's the one thing I didn't clean.
Yeah, you're like,
just going in and just
okay.
Yeah.
Or she'd be someone where like you guys are hanging out, you drop something on the floor and eat it, and she's just kind of like clearly disgusted. You know, she's kind of like,
She's, you know what's funny with Serena is I can't quite tell. I'm like, I can't tell if it's just her sense of humor that she's just kind of like quippy like that, where it's just like, oh, were you a weird kid type? And that's just her being funny. But she always kind of has like the big smile on. So I'm not quite sure.
I think she's nice. I think she's just a little bit
No. I think she's nice
I think
too.
she's a Virgo is all I'm saying.
Yes. Okay. Oh, no. I think she's super nice. I'm just more like, oh, do you have like a very dry sense of humor or are you a Virgo?
Now I have to look up her birthday.
Oh, you know what?
Do you have it? Do you have a list?
No, you don't have to look up your birthday because I would like to make a huge shout out to a Instagram called just straight up Bachelor horoscopes that now has been hooking up.
I think she's a Scorpio.
She is?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, see, then now I don't know. Now I don't know. Maybe that is her sense of humor. Maybe she's has like a very like dry kind of like sharp sense of humor.
Okay, maybe. Regardless, I'm still gonna wash my sink before she comes over, just to cover my ass.
1000%. Well, they're both opening up to each other, and he's talks about, which I loved. We always get these little nuggets from Matt, and he talks about how he pursued all these things, college, sports, all of that, and once he was done pursuing them, he figured out that they were someone else's dreams and not his, which I thought was actually a very powerful conversation.
Yeah, and like revelation for him to have. He also talks really seriously about how old his mom is and how single she is.
I was just like, if I was Matt's mom listening to this, I'd be like, bitch, I gave birth to you. Be respectful. I could get laid if I wanted to. I am getting laid. People now have seen me on this show. I am stunning. I am gorgeous. Okay. I don't talk to you, honey, about my escapades, but I read some erotica, if you know what I'm saying.
Honey, you haven't lived with me for the past 10 years.
Sweetheart.
Babe. Yes, I know it's a pandemic. We're in each other's bubbles. Okay?
Many of us.
Why would I? Yeah, exactly. Like, why would I introduce you to my swingers club? Why would I have any motivation to do that?
Why do you think I'm so okay with you going on this show? Okay, I'm down with
9
dating
weeks
32
with
people.
you out of my hair. And yes, also I condone this lifestyle.
Jeffrey has been staying with me the entire time.
He did say he did say she was in full support.
Yes. And he's just like, but she's just,
old and alone.
Like, my God.
I guarantee she does have a love life she is keeping from him.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and then as Matt's confessing in his feelings. He's confessing to Serena. Like, I think this is the first person that he's done this very quickly with, where he's like, I have to tell you, like, I'm already feeling these strong feelings for you so quickly. And he leans in to kiss her, and then they are descended upon by a group of burro or donkey.
Burros. That is Spanish for donkey.
There are many of them. They are descending upon them. There is a herd of them, and all I can think about are these the uncomfortable struggles Chris Harrison was talking about.
This is like, real
bring
life.
Out the donkey.
Swarm.
But they were awfully cute, and I love donkey.
They were really all up in their business.
And Matt was just like, that was in one of those other moments where Matt was just like, I had a turtle as a kid. And Serena's just like, were you a weird kid?
I'm like, weird? What is weird about having a turtle?
Well, he
is that
says...
weird? Well, what's weird is that he did have, as you pointed out, turtle swim trunks on later.
Matt James loves a turtle. We find out that Matt James is a turtle stan, which God bless. But Matt says that he's like, everybody loves a turtle. It's like a comfort turtle. But she was like, it's weird because like it's a pet, like you can't play with it. And I'm like, I guess.
Well, what? How many of us have had fish? Can you play with a fucking fish? Since when is being able to play with it? What constitutes a pet?
And I do love a turtle. You get one of those larger turtles that live in your backyard and wander around. Yes. My best girlfriend used to have one.
They just kind of disappear randomly.
Yeah, Frances, and she'd disappear, and then you go and you feed her a head of lettuce, and she just loves you, and you give her a little petsky on the head, and then she just disappears.
And the tiny ones too, the way they swim in water. Oh my God, there was a pond where I used to take my nanny kids, and there was tons of baby turtles. I caught one once, and I brought it home for like 24 hours. And then I learned that turtles require a lot of special care and special habitats.
Turtles?
So I took it back to the pond.
Oh, that's nice.
Meanwhile, the girls are still talking shit about Sarah, who is hiding. Serena and Anna are both being super shady, which I'm living for. What's the other Serena's last initial?
So Serena P is on the date, and Serena C. Serena C. And Serena
C and Anna are getting shady, which I love.
Serena says she is hiding away like a child.
Oh my God, that is such a good impression.
Thank you.
Oh my God. That is actually creepy. It's like there's a different person next to me. Say something else.
I am Serena C, and if I do not get a date with Matt James next week, I'm gonna fucking freak.
That is so good.
Thank you.
Wow. I'm just
her.
A peasant among a queen. Please, Your Honor, have mercy upon me. You know what's crazy?
What?
Speaking of royalty, they are treated like royalty because they have a date at an actual place, or so it appears.
An actual restaurant? They're walking through what seems to be a parking lot. And I was just like, what is this?
I don't know. It was incredible.
A parking lot? A restaurant?
It was incredible.
I haven't seen the inside of a restaurant.
I've only seen conference centers for the past 6 years.
All I've known of a restaurant are to-go boxes for many days. Many days.
Not the case tonight.
Not the case.
Not only that, but Serena looks really, really pretty.
She looks beautiful. And they're by the crackling fireplace. It's very, very romantic. And Matt's talking about how much he loves their conversation from earlier and he wants to know more. We find out that she has had one really serious relationship, thought that it was the one. She was in love and it was devastating when it didn't end up working out. She asks about him.
Yeah, and basically, I mean, what I gathered from it is that he's never really been in love. He thought he was. Classical. I feel like I hear this every season. I thought I was in love from all the guys, but like maybe I wasn't really.
What do you think about that? Do you think, because he was saying, he's like, if you would have asked me, you know, in college or when I was younger, I would have told you that I'd been in love before, but now I'm not so sure. What do you feel about that?
I mean, I definitely have had, I can think of one particular situation where when I was in it, I thought that I was in love. I really did. And then with the quickness that I was out of it and how I got over it, I was like, I was not in love with that dude.
Yeah.
It was just a very passionate, like, rendezvous, you know, whirlwind. But I wasn't really actually in love. But so I think that it could be that you have a different perspective on it after, but also like, you know, don't diminish the things you felt for real when you were like, just because you were younger.
Yeah, that's what I feel like happens sometimes. I think maybe I throw around, if I hadn't been in a relationship as long with Evan, I would throw around the term in love maybe a lot, because I think about when I was young, and if I look back, I go, oh, that's definitely not the type of love that you know now, but it felt very real to me, so I still consider it love.
Sure.
Maybe I don't know, maybe it wasn't, but I would still.
I mean, if you felt it and it felt real. But
it was love for me at the time. And does my definition of love change as I get older? Yes, but it doesn't mean that when my definition of love was that, it was love. I don't know.
But I mean, I guess the perspective I'm coming from is sometimes I've looked back on it and I was like, that was just infatuation.
Sure.
Because then there are other things to compare it to. Anyway, I do think that that's an interesting statement when people say that, and I wonder what they mean exactly. But they both feel great. They get in the hot tub and it is getting steamy up in there. There's no kissing issues there.
No, there are no kissing issues there. He is in his turtle trunks and they are making out, and I'm like, after seeing that makeout session, I'm like, Serena is going to be around for a hot minute because that chemistry is real. And she told her that she was falling in like with him, and she's like, I could see myself falling in love with you. And he says the feelings are very mutual, and I'm like, okay, here we go. He's going to tell another girl that he's falling in love, maybe almost.
Straight up.
Here we go.
Well, meanwhile, back at the house, speaking of someone he's said that he's into, the girls are still talking about Sarah. Victoria's like, Sarah needs a Xanax.
Oh my God. It's getting out of control in the house.
And then Sarah arrives when they're about to read the date card. She pops up behind when they receive a date card.
Oh my goodness. I absolutely could not believe like the fact that she just pops in. She pops in to apologize, she says, to the women.
I thought it was like a fairly sincere apology.
So I get why everyone's upset, but I was also surprised that she came down, and at least in my opinion, don't get me wrong, I'm not a Sarah fan, but in my opinion, her apology was pretty like straightforward. It wasn't like,
what I thought too.
She was like, I sincerely apologize. Then she throws in like, I was planning on going home yesterday, and then I'm like, but
otherwise I thought it was pretty
apologizing,
good apology.
Well, and then she goes, hopefully you've gotten to know me and know, and Kit interrupts and she goes, we haven't. Who? And then Victoria's like, yeah, who is she? Who is she even talking to? I'm like, oh my God.
Wait, that was Kit who said, like, if you guys knew me, and she goes, we don't. Like,
yes, Kit was angry. We're seeing the side of Kit that we were waiting to see.
We're seeing this side from a lot of women, though. We're seeing this from MJ. We're seeing this from Anna. We're seeing this from Serena. We're seeing it from everyone.
People are upset.
We're not seeing it from Rachel. And we're not seeing it from Katie or some people.
No, we're not seeing it from Maggie. We're not seeing it from Bree. We're not seeing it from Chelsea. Kayla said one or two things.
Yeah.
There's a couple who are very vocal about their extreme anger.
Like Victoria, who's like, this isn't the Sarah show.
Oh my God.
They're basically all, I mean, obviously not always names of people who weren't, but a majority of them are going off on her about how, who is it, Anna? That's like, it hasn't been that hard for you.
Yes. Which, fair. In comparison to them.
Fair.
But it is a session.
Oh, my back. Couldn't one argue, like, to play devil's advocate, couldn't one argue that it is harder for her because she has established more of a connection with him?
Fair point, queen. Checkmate.
So she's had more time. It's like, how can Anna say that it's harder for her when she doesn't even know Matt? Like, how can she be like having a difficult time with someone she doesn't even know
him?
You don't even know him like I know him. I spent like 9 extra hours with him.
We're basically in love.
So I mean, there's that. It's like, well, maybe she actually is having a harder time because she knows she has more of a connection to him.
True. At this point, she is like, I feel so emotionally beat up. I'm like, yes. At this point, I understand you saying that. You listening to the girls with their erotica, dramatic. At this point, after getting bombarded, I would imagine you're feeling a little bit emotionally.
They start piling on, and they're calling her calculated and toxic and whatever else.
Serena's just toxic, manipulative. and then Victoria's just like, if Matt sends her home, I will want to fuck him. That would be so hot if he sends her home. And I'm like, damn, everybody. I mean, like, you know that we love the drama, but this is getting too intense.
And then Victoria also says, I do not want to speak for the group, but I don't accept your apology.
Of course not. Queen Victoria never accepts an apology. It's part of her royal creed.
She just, you know what? She loves to have drama with people.
Oh, she
if
loves
there's anyone who yeah, I mean, she's ready for it to begin.
She is 100% the type of person that if you are in a romantic relationship with her, if you have one good dinner where there's nothing going wrong at the end of the dinner, she's just like, why did you look at the waitress that way?
I think it's
you.
I think it's interesting that you don't have anything negative to say because you usually do.
I think it's interesting that like maybe you just don't care about our relationship anymore.
Right.
Like you used to really be really opinionated and you've been really quiet this dinner, which makes me think that you're cheating on me because like you're not passionate about us anymore.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. Like, I feel like we're losing passion, so I think I'm just gonna go right now. I'm just gonna go. And he's like, "What? Oh, babe." And
he's like, Victoria, get out of the fountain.
I love that for her. I think it's hilarious. Like, I know it's me. I know they're being super mean to Sarah, but it is funny.
But the drama.
But it is funny.
But the drama is 10 out of 10. We got to be real about that.
I mean, it's reality TV and it's fabulous.
Kit is personally offended as well. Kit is saying when she walks away, Kit says to one of the girls, literally avoid me at all costs. I never want to hear you or see your face again. It's like, damn, what did she do to you? This is getting really intense. This feels very personal.
Maybe Kit didn't get time.
Yes, I would say that
she did.
A lot of these girls didn't get time, and it was personal, but it felt more like a murder or something like that. Like the reaction was extreme.
I mean, MJ wasn't on the date, and MJ is fucking heated.
MJ is furious. MJ is.
By the way, she's the only one that can make eye bags look sexy.
I know. She's kind of got like this, when she doesn't wear her makeup, she's just kind of one of those where you're like, she looks tired and it's hot.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Like, were you up all night having sex or like, what were you doing?
Yes. I have a couple guy friends who always rock the eye bags. I'm like, why is this hot? And MJ's kind of the same way. It's
Do you
just
think Pete Davidson's puffy eyes are hot?
I would love to lick them. Okay, that was horrible. But yes, to answer your question.
Lick them.
That was my sexual response. And now thinking about licking that like type of like eye bag type skin is just going to be a no for me.
Thank you for clarifying,
But I think that they're very hot.
You want to lick him.
I would like to
with
lick
his eye bags. You don't want to lick the dry
I would
eye
not
bags.
like to lick the eye bags. I would like
Oh my God.
to.
I don't even hear the word eye bag again. It's starting to make me nauseated. I hate it. We're going to continue on. So.
Wait, do you think that Pete Davidson's eye bags are hot?
I just think like he's hot. I don't think his eye bags are hot.
But I feel like that the part that he always looks so tired is part of the reason that he looks hot.
Yeah, I can see that. Like just
Like
troubled
so
soul.
busy all the time.
Yeah, he's just like so depressed, can't sleep.
Dreaming
so
of you.
Hot. Yeah, dreaming of me. Well, okay, so Katie comes in though to check on Sarah after Sarah leaves the room and goes back up to her room. And Katie is so sweet. She comes up. I love this. I do. She put me in check as the viewer, you know?
Yeah,
she was like,
she really did.
I did not like that. I did not like the way we were treated there.
And let's remember too, of everyone, the person who could and should be the most offended about the situation is Katie, because she was the one who was actually physically interrupted by Sarah.
True. I like her. I'm going to give her a follow right now on Instagram.
I'm going to give her a 5 stars.
Well, I mean, okay. Sarah though immediately is telling her like I'm gonna leave, and you and I were confused. We're like, oh, wait, is she actually leaving?
We're like, there's no way.
There's no way.
And then Katie pulls such an elevated way of thinking where she goes, I need you to explore this because I don't want to be Matt's backup plan. I don't want you to leave and for him not to be over you and to think in the back of my head that he's thinking about you. And I was like, this is an elevated way of thinking of dealing with the situation, the reality of the situation, not the romantic version, the reality of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And Katie, why we love and why we stand is she's communicative. She sees the reality of what this is. And it is a show. There are 32, well, not anymore, but there were 32 women. Like at the top of it, she's like, let's everybody get along and enjoy it while we can. Like she is very aware.
Yeah.
Very aware.
Yeah. And it's funny because I thought that production sent her in to like convince Sarah to stay. Because Katie was saying like, she made, just such an interesting point of being like, I have to let you and Matt explore your relationship because if you leave, then what if he's still thinking of you? And I don't want to be his second pick. I was like, okay. But Sarah's like, no, I'm leaving. And she brings up, oh my God, this is where it was like,
yeah,
no, are you kidding me? Like, Sarah brings up how she doesn't know how long her dad will last. But I'm sorry. There's just a part of me that goes like, well, if your dad could possibly live weeks, then why are you going on The Bachelor?
Yeah.
That I just didn't really get that.
No, I don't necessarily.
I'm like, if he's on death's door, why are you going on the Bachelor on a reality TV show?
Yeah, I can't put myself in the situation because I've never been there before. But yeah, my thought is more like, okay, if this is something that you were aware of when you signed up for the show and now are you just regretting it? Or like, I don't know. I think that would be something that would be a determinant beforehand.
Either way, Katie is like,
oh God,
look, my dad passed away in 2012.
That was really, I mean, that was incredibly, that was such an impactful moment. The fact that they had that and she looks at her and she goes, go be with him. Like if I could get minutes back with my dad, I would do anything to do that.
She says she misses out on her goodbye. It was very emotional. Mm-hmm. Very. So we see Sarah pack up her bags and leave. And Jess and I are confused. We're like, hey, she hasn't seen Matt. Like, what's happening?
She hasn't said goodbye. She's just taking off. And she's like, she's done with this. And then we have Katie, which, by the way, Katie goes down and sits with the women. She encourages everyone to like be up on the up and up. Doesn't want Sarah to feel bullied. And another moment, a crowning moment for our queen, is that she doesn't like sit there and then like spill the tea about what's going on with Sarah. She's like,
she keeps it super private.
Yep, she's like, there's some family things going on, and she felt like she was feeling this about Matt and about feeling stressed, but there's other things as well. So let's be respectful. And Just a wonderful person.
Yeah.
Just a wonderful person.
Yeah, she was really, really sweet about that. And she also tells everyone to be classy, because when she comes down and says that Sarah's left, Victoria's like, yes, thank God.
And then MJ's like mad about it.
Yeah.
Because like MJ wanted more drama.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, she's bored. MJ is bored in the house, and she's just like, she needs somebody,
bored in the
right?
house, and I'm in the house bored. Haven't seen that in a long time. So, okay. Then we have the scene that we were waiting for. However, I will say, Jess and I thought that she was going to stay at the end of this conversation with Matt.
So many twists and turns I wasn't expecting.
Me too.
Yeah.
So she goes to Matt's fucking chalet. He's got a whole sweet ass pad to himself.
I know.
That is not the La Quinta.
No, that is not poor Tasha's room where she was just like stuck in one.
Subjected to 2009.
Yeah, please.
No, Matt
With
is
the
in
stucco.
2022.
No, Matt is living with his like 20 cars that they're letting him drive, and then also this like gigantic
so
home,
sick.
which maybe his mom's living there too. Who knows? I mean, she was there that one time.
Maybe he doesn't know that she's living there.
Maybe not.
Creepy. So she tells him, this is interesting, because at first she does not tell him that she's leaving. So
Nope.
we're like, oh, okay, here we go.
We're looking at each other the whole time, and we're like noting, okay, she hasn't said that she's planning on leaving. She's gonna stay. She's
telling him she's doubting if she can do it. Mm-hmm. She tells him she's being attacked and she isn't welcome and the girls are cruel and malicious, which, to be honest, I don't disagree with.
I feel like if she would have said these things before they bombarded her, I would have been like, okay, drama. If she would have been acting like how she was acting at the group date, so upset, it was like dramatic. Yeah. After the being bombarded situation, I'm like, okay,
fair.
That was pretty out of control.
Fair. Yeah, I agree. She still hasn't told him that she's leaving. Mm-hmm. He says he's really into her. But then she says that she's prayed about it and she needs to go home to be with her family.
And we're shocked. You and I were like, whoa, okay, so she's leaving now.
And of course, Matt, a respectful king, says, it doesn't mean I'm, well, we were hanging on to every word. He says, it doesn't mean I'm not thinking about you. And me and Jess are like, and then he's like, and praying for your dad. And we're like, okay.
He was just letting her know, like, you're not out of my thoughts when you're gone. Like, I would be thinking about you and your family.
And he says some guy one day will be lucky. And he is like, blessings to you. Respectful. You've made your choice. Go forth.
He escorts her out.
I will say this about Matt. I believe that he would do this with any woman at any point in the process. I believe if any woman said, I've been praying about it. It's on my heart. This is not for me. I need to go home. I believe he would say, with peace and love, adieu.
Yes.
This is breaking my heart. You need to do what you need to do. And I love him for that. I believe this through unpopular opinion, perhaps. I believe this threw a slight wrench into Sarah's plans.
I would also agree with that probably unpopular opinion.
Maybe not plans. Like I don't want to say that like this was all part of Sarah's plot. No, I do not mean it like that.
This is what we were talking about. So off mic when we were watching it, we were both very convinced watching this and then seeing it wrap that she didn't have an exact plan, that she did, like the girls brought up actually in their conversation, they're like, why, Anna said this. She goes, why aren't you just telling us that you wanted him to chase after you and just be honest about that? So I think with Sarah, like I believe she's hurting. She doesn't necessarily, like she's feeling stressed. She doesn't know maybe the best choice because of her family. I also believe, I believe she's dramatic. I think that the whole thing that was going down with like the erotica reading was like over the top. And she's doing a Victoria Fuller and she wants his attention. And this is a way that she's like, initially doing it. Now, in this situation, I think she, in her heart, was like, I'm packing up and I'm going to go.
Well,
and then she gets in the car. And then it's maybe like, well, let's see what Matt's...
I think sometimes these tactics are these subtle manipulation tactics or not so subtle. And I'm not trying to say that in an accusatory way. Like, she is manipulative. But I think sometimes people learn habits of using manipulative tactics to get things that they need, like emotional validation and feeling like security in a relationship.
Yes,
and I believe that those are kind of like emotional survival tactics. And so I'm not saying it like I'm holding it against her, but I believe that she may have developed these patterns like Victoria F of using this kind of like withholding and I'm leaving and I'm coming, you're going to want me back in order to feel validated,
Yeah.
in order, like the other girls were saying, to get the attention. I think it might be subconscious at this point. So
Yeah.
I think that whether or not she realized it in her heart of hearts, whether or not she was aware of it, she wanted him to truly chase after her and tell her, please don't go. I can't do this without you.
I think that is a very good way to put it. I know for myself personally, many years of not going through therapy and needing certain things and not knowing how to communicate. I found, maybe 25-year-old, 24-year-old Jess caught up in a really bad pattern of, even when I was married to Evan, doing the whole like, I'm leaving, I'm out of here, running away to try to get him to love me the way I needed him to love me and chase after me.
Because you don't have the tools to know how to communicate what you need emotionally.
And through therapy, those things have changed. But that is still, it's when you know that that's an availability, sometimes that can be a temptation to try to, whatever. So I think the way that exactly what you said is a perfect way to put it.
Yeah. So I think that, he walks her out and she's in the car. And this is what really tipped Jess and I off to being like,
yeah.
Okay. So what we thought was going on is what's going on when she says, she's crying in the limo. And this is my opinion, both Jess and I's opinion. This scene, did I already say this in the episode? Half the episode wouldn't be about Sarah if she wasn't coming back. Mm-hmm. There would be no point. I did already say this earlier about like with Jason, just like, it's like, oh, what? He's gone? Okay, bye. That's how it would be if Sarah was just leaving this early on. This is only week 3. If someone's truly going home week 3, they are not going to have much of a moment.
You know that I believe that the scene that we see with Matt James crying in the forest, that we keep getting this teaser to, I have maybe a feeling that Matt James will get to, I don't know, perhaps top 5, and all of a sudden Sarah will show up again, and that will be very emotional for him.
And that's when he's saying the words or whatever, like, I just don't know where to go from here.
I don't know where to go from here. I don't know where to go from here. Like, perhaps he really does like her and is vibing with her, but then also I could see Matt James too being like taking everything Sarah's saying so seriously that he's like, oh my God, if she came all the way back, shutting her down with what's going on with her family, that's so painful. He seems very sensitive and emotionally aware in that way.
That is a good point. Yeah. Like, yeah. Like he's
how
like, am I
supposed to do
there the
this?
way she's there? Yeah, that totally makes sense. Well, there is one part in the limo where she says, she's talking about like, I think he sees my heart. Like he knows family is everything to me. And she goes, I think that's why he let me go, because he sees my heart. And we were like, oh, wait, backpedal.
Yep.
Why he let you go?
No.
She's sitting in the car trying to justify why he didn't chase after her.
Yes.
That is what she's doing in the car.
Yes.
She's saying like, oh, why could he have let me go? Because he sees my heart and he knows it. And it's like, hold up. No. The reason he let you go is because you were adamant about going.
Yes, you said, I am going to go.
And in that moment, you see that part of the devastation is that he did not chase after her.
Correct. And I fully believe that, because I don't know how someone would word it that way. I don't think someone would ever word it that way. If I chose to leave the show, I definitely chose to leave the show. I've had family things going on, whatever. I would say, I'd be like, oh, it was so hard saying goodbye to him. You know, I'm appreciative of the fact that he was aware of how much family meant to me.
Yeah, no, she literally says, I think that's why he let me go. Because she's trying to process that in your head.
Yeah, I think she was probably thrown off that he didn't try to convince her to stay longer.
She said, like, I've been praying about it. It's on my heart. I must. So what the hell is he supposed to do?
No, he did. Matt James did exactly
what he should have done.
You and I specifically always are very adamant about wanting to see more of.
Yeah.
When someone says,
I'm not into it.
When someone says, I'd like you to go home, and they're going, but why? Or, you know, I need to go home, and they're trying to convince them otherwise. We're both very adamant about the fact it's like, no, when someone is verbalizes what they want, they have their autonomy, and that is what they are choosing.
Because it is an aspect of consent.
Exactly. So when she says to Matt James, and he communicates to her and says, I'm really going to miss you. Like, I wish you could be here. but I completely understand and I respect you. Like, he did exactly what I believe he should do.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think she was wanting him to probably communicate more regret with her leaving, or ask her to stay, or pack his bags and leave with her. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's like with the Cassie situation with Colton, you know, it's like if Matt was in those shoes, he would have just let Cassie leave.
I believe that with my entire being. Yep.
So I stand Matt.
I love Matt so much. I really do. The more, as each week passes, the more I'm just like, he just seems just like a very, very like good, communicative, considerate.
To me, he seems really selfless. Like he's really trying to put other people before himself.
He does. And you know what I will say is in past seasons, specifically, not with The Bachelorette, but in past seasons with our past bachelors, I was convinced that they would feel pressure to get engaged, that they would maybe get engaged for certain clout reasons or things like that. But I will say with Matt James, I fully believe that he will not do anything unless he firmly believes it, and that he will do his best not to hurt anyone.
Yeah, I agree too.
At least that's what it appears so far. So, we stand Matt.
And, we stand Matt.
And next week,
promo.
Oh my God. I mean, this episode was wild. And next episode looks even wilder.
I have a quick question about Matt.
Yeah.
Do you think that, I mean, obviously this humility and selflessness, we have to take into consideration that he has never been in the public eye before. He has not been on a previous season of The Bachelorette. He has not been fawned over while filming this season, hardly at all.
Okay.
So do you think that maybe he will like lack some humility like after this experience? I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think so, just because I feel like he had plenty of being in the public eye the past year before because of Tyler. He blew up on Instagram. He was going to all the parties with Tyler. I mean, he was in a huge football position for a while. Like, I feel like he's had plenty of times. I mean, think about this, Becca. Tyler was hanging out with A-list celebrities. Yeah. And you know Matt was with him. And if you're gonna get a big head, it's when you're hanging out with fucking Kendall Jenner and Gigi Hadid. And Matt does not seem to have let any of that affect him.
True.
Like, I would think he would have walked in there with more of an attitude than past bachelors to be like, listen, I know that I haven't done this before, but I'm hanging out at parties with like the Kardashians, okay?
Yeah, who are all you hoes?
Yeah, who are you? like he's, I feel like I really don't think that this experience is going to change
I don't think so either. And I like that.
And I like it.
I like it. Okay, so yeah, the promo. Woo!
The promo looks like...
We got new ladies coming into the house. What's up?
I could not be more excited.
They look like bitches, and I can't wait.
I am thrilled. They look like they are here to stoke the flames. It is going to be dramatic. We have Anna talking about the potential escort.
Oh my God, it makes me anxious just thinking about all those new women coming in as one of the...
I mean,
just get your world rocked like that.
Oh, it's going to be so intense. And I can't wait. And it's like the next episode is going to be wild.
I can't wait. I
cannot wait for next week. So we will chat soon, broads. But until then, check out our Thursday episode where we're going to be talking all the Bachelor tea. And we also talk a lot about aliens because 2021, you know? It's
Why not,
just what it is.
Why not?
All right, broads. We love ya. Chat soon.
Chat soon.